They went from Hosanna, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, to crucify him, all in a matter of days. And we remember that throughout the year, and one of those ways is to keep these, and then I'll bust them out when they're all dried up, and bring the ashes next Ash Wednesday, next year. So this is Palm Sunday. Kick off the Holy Week, and there are things. If we were part of a different tradition, we would have things Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We'd stay up all Saturday night. Anybody want to do that with me? Stay up all Saturday night? Okay. And then Easter Sunday. It is the same week that was the week of Passover in the time of Jesus. We have used the same week because all these events occurred. Okay. Is that me? Because all of these events that we're going to look at and remember, reflect upon this week, are integrated and came out of the Hebrew faith. On Thursday, Jesus will conduct a Seder meal that involves salt water, bitter herbs, lamb, 4 glasses of wine, all spread out over in a certain order. And at the Seder meal, still today, they leave an open chair at the table, and they crack the door open, the folks that celebrate Seder meal. And it's the way that they would put it is for Elijah, meaning the return of Elijah, or the second of Elijah, or the Messiah, is what they're saying. It just so happened to be, though, isn't it funny, that week in Palestine, a couple thousand years ago, the doors were cracked, the empty chair was set at the table, and that actually was when the Messiah showed up. Always and forever brought to Jesus' body, brought to us through the Jewish people, for all the people. And it will always be that way. So, that's why we have the palms. Because folks threw down branches as Jesus rode into Jerusalem, knowing what was about to happen. Let's stand and sing.
Rise Hosanna in the highest. Hosanna, Hosanna, Hosanna in the highest. Hosanna, Hosanna, Hosanna in the highest.
The screen doesn't look that bright, but up on the screen is just an artist's interpretation of the craziness that was going on those streets in Jerusalem as Jesus was riding in. This particular Palm Sunday, we're going to read from the Gospel of Matthew. And on Friday, Good Friday, which I guess you'd call it Bad Friday or Good for Us Friday, I don't know what you want to say, will be at noon here. First Presbyterian's coming over. And I will tell you that, it won't be nice. It'll be a little uncomfortable, the Good Friday service. And it's just interesting to me that there's really no other narrative or no other story that works to accomplish good. We're not going to talk about the why that's the case. We're just talking about the is that's the case. There really is no other story that works toward good or gets you to new places or heals things or grows things up that doesn't have rejection or a crash or tragedy. So we're beginning with Jesus riding in. When they had come near Jerusalem and had reached Bethphage at the Mount of Olives, Jesus sent 2 disciples, saying to them, "Go into the village ahead of you, and immediately you will find a donkey tied and a colt with her. Untie them and bring them to me. If anyone says anything to you, just say this: the Lord needs them, and he will send them immediately." This took place to fulfill what had been spoken through the prophet. "Tell the daughter of Zion, look, your king is coming to you, humble and mounted on a donkey, and on a colt, the foal of a donkey." The disciples went and did as Jesus had directed them. They brought the donkey and the colt and put their cloaks on them, and he sat on them. A very large crowd spread their cloaks on the road, and others cut branches from the trees and spread them on the road. And the crowds that went ahead of him and that followed were shouting, "Hosanna to the Son of David! Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord! Hosanna in the highest!" When he entered Jerusalem, the whole city was in turmoil, asking, "Who is this?" The crowds were saying, "This is the prophet Jesus from Nazareth in Galilee." The whole city was in turmoil. That word turmoil is actually kind of the word for earthquake. The whole city was vibrating and breaking is what it really means. Agitated and break. We get our word schism, right? Yeah, that's the word. So the whole city was in a schism. Isn't that interesting? My question that I want to ask you is, what was Jesus doing? This isn't a situation where he doesn't know what's going to happen. He's not writing in. This is not a time where you show up and see what happens. He's orchestrating this. He knows exactly what is going on. You know, sometime during this week, this Holy Week here in first century Palestine, because all of the Hebrews, not only from the nation, but if they lived anywhere else, they came and camped at Jerusalem for this week. From whatever other country they lived, they were all there. And you know, the governors, the Roman governors, that makes them a little nervous. Like when everyone, like some fervor might develop. They get nervous about this large gathering for a whole week because they need them to stay passive. So, one of the things that Pilate would do every year is he would get on his war horse that's armored with his entourage of soldiers, and sometime during this week, he would ride through the streets of Jerusalem with this, like a military parade, like a show of force, just to remind them, don't be getting any ideas. Yeah. So every year, you know, Jesus and Pilate kind of grew up, same ages together. Every year, yep, once Pilate's in charge, every year, yeah, sometime during that week, he rides through. Kind of intimidate folks. All right. So Jesus has gone to Jerusalem his whole life this week, along with everybody else from his town. He knows what's happening. And so he picks a baby donkey. And he orchestrates his own riding through the streets. But here's something you have to deal with this or consider it. The average height of a Palestinian man in the first century was 5'5". His roughly makes his inseam about 28 inches. A foal or colt, the word used, if you go with the age of what that word means, at that time in a donkey foal's life, from the neck, which actually, not trying to bore you, but it's called the withers. From the withers to the ground, from the neck, right, to the ground, would have been about 36 inches. So essentially what you have is an adult male of average height on a baby donkey, either with his feet up or dragging him on the ground, right? It's ridiculous. It's like the scene, it's like a six-legged animal walking through. And everybody knows when you ride through, like on something equine, everybody knows what that means. He knows what it means. He's known what it meant since he was probably 12. Everybody knows what it means. And so he does it on purpose, but he picks this almost horse, and at that, a baby, which you can't really even fit on. So it looks absurd. And my question is, what's he doing? What is he orchestrating? What is this strategy? What is this plan? This is Jesus being extremely aware of all kinds of factors and contexts, and he's making theater. He's making public theater on purpose for a goal. We might even call it prophetic theater. Prophets sometimes do weird things to get our attention. If they told us plainly, we wouldn't listen. If they got angry with us and shook us up, we wouldn't listen. And so they do weird things to get our attention, playing the long game in hopes that we will eventually come around. My question to you, what's he doing? Yeah. Mhm. 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 Yeah. So here's some of the characters in the crowd. There are the religious leaders and the political leaders, and there are children. And this day, every year on this day, they would everybody knew this. They sing Psalm 118. This is the day for Psalm 118, which they sing, the cornerstone that the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone. So that's what they sing on this day. And now he's walking through, and all the kids, they already know the song, Hosanna, chief cornerstone. They're singing it. I should have added a couple more verses, because then the political and religious leaders, they try to get the kids to stop singing. They don't want to draw too much attention, because the Hosanna is the come save us. Kind of like theological and physical battle cry. So these are the characters. So some people are participating with the cloaks and the branches. Some people probably heading home and closing their doors. But the majority of the people there, they don't live there, and they know who he is. And at one time, he gathered thousands and thousands on a hillside right in front of the centurion guard and fed them all. Right? So, like, what's he doing? Yeah. There's certainly, we'll say more. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. So what Tim was saying, isn't he kind of mocking the current style of the leadership um, that is over them? Yeah, of course he is. Um, he's calling it silly, and he's making himself look silly in order to call it silly. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm going to say that out loud forever. Ian said, Jesus is managing expectations. Go ahead. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So two things going on. Ian's saying it at once. Sure, you can mock the brute will to power, the people that are sort of uh, make their own morality, and whoever's strongest is right. That kind of person. Yeah, certainly mocking that, but uh, where Ian's headed is, we're in the crowd too, and we would love it if a strong man showed up with miracles to set things straight. Wouldn't we? Yeah. Wouldn't the whole world right now? Isn't that what we're doing? Right. Yep. So, Ian says, managing. Oh. So also, the people of all different kinds, us, us being the people, the disciples too, he's managing their expectations of what this is about. He's not telling them, yeah, yeah, right, yeah, yeah. And he's not telling them with words. What? What'd you say, Sue? What'd you say? Oh, I thought you said he's showing them. He's not telling them with words, but he's showing them. And I'm telling you, 2,000 years later, this ridiculous image of what he did. And we have had to come around to it. So he did it before we were ready, before we knew, before we understood. And then he's playing the long game. We have to come around to him. What else do you see Jesus doing?
He's not trying to cause an uprising,
No.
and he's trying, like you said, he's trying to show people that his kingdom is about love and humility
Mm-hmm.
and not militarism and
Mm-hmm.
armored horses and all that.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of message.
Uh-huh.
And like you say, it's got people thinking,
Uh-huh.
What's he doing?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And we're not going to jump in the crowd and draw our swords and take out the Romans.
Right.
Not that kind of message.
And Jesus has friends that would want to do that, right? His best friend, some of his best friends do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. He is using symbols and signs and capitalizing on the immediate culture and jargon and activities of what's going on right there for those people in that time. So let's switch for a second. Like, that's what prophets do. The majority, prophets, the majority of what they do has nothing to do with the future. Except that it's easy to tell the future because, it's pretty obvious, right? There's like neon signs everywhere. If you do this, this is what's going to happen. If you do that, this is what's going to happen, right? Okay. So the majority of what prophets do is not tell the future. They just repeat what God has already said, but they repeat it like right now using the color of your shirt. They repeat what God has said in this time with these idioms, with these songs, in this language, with the symbols that are important to you. But they're just saying the same thing that God has already said, but saying it for right now, for us, in our own imaginative and intellectual and cultural landscapes. So he's using all of those. But let's switch for a minute and let's be ourselves now, like me and you. We're not Hebrew people of the ancient world. We are not the ones who copied this book and told this story. You and I are not the ones who brought about the physical, material body of God. We are right in the ancient Hebrew conception. Right, there's two groups. There's the Hebrews, and then there's the Gentiles. So let me use that word for just a minute, Gentiles, and that just kind of means everyone else. Greek, Roman, Asian, North American, South American, Spanish. I mean, just everyone else, Gentiles, right? Okay, so now that's what we are. So let's be ourselves for a minute. What if we were there? And this is not our heritage. We know some of the symbols because we live next door. We don't know all of them. When we see this week unfold, say we're traveling from, let's just say we're traveling from Spain. We're Spanish. Galatians or something, or Galicians or something. We just happen to be there. And we see this week unfold. Not our home, not our people. Pretty much the Romans don't have much to do with us right now. We only know about 10 Jewish folks in 100 square miles where we live. We see this week unfold. What are we seeing? So come at it from I'm not part of this group. What are you noticing happening?
It feels like that prophetic aspect of it works well even if you don't know the prophecy, because it's so theatrical,
Mm-hmm.
so narrative driven.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to see it as anything other than a fairy tale or a story. And if you were seeing it in front of you, I feel like it would still feel prophetic, even if you're not familiar with the source material.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you hear Ian? He says, for us Gentiles, even if we're not, it would still seem prophetic or like some super narrative going on, even if we're not familiar with the source material, is what Ian was saying. So what happens when we see Pilate coming in from the west side with his military brigade, and we see Jesus with the majority peasants coming in on the east side on a donkey, on a baby donkey. We see that happen. Then we see like all of these well-dressed leaders trying to shut kids up. It's interesting. Then as the week unfolds, that guy who rode in, like everyone was cheering, and all of a sudden everything turned, and now it's Friday, which is that's just execution day. Like that particular Friday was no different than any other Friday, that for them. Except the sky went dark, there was an earthquake. What is it? What is it that you're seeing? What are you starting to wonder? Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. So you don't have to have a very specific concept of the divine in order to start maybe looking out the side, from the side of your eyes, wondering, what is this? Mm-hmm. There's something going on that is a lot that's even bigger behind the scenes than what, and I'm seeing something pretty big, but it seems there must be something bigger, right? And if Jesus just went around and said, he did say things a lot of times, right? He taught, right? But if he just went around and said what he was doing that week, I would not be here talking about it. But because he structured and strategized and created like what we now see as like the pivotal moment in human history, he walked it. He's walking, he's not talking. When we get here, he's walking, he's not talking. In fact, in a different situation, there are some visitors who are not Jewish, and they ask to speak with Jesus, and they give a message to his disciples and say, hey, can we speak with Jesus? So the disciples come to Jesus and say, there's some Gentiles who'd like to speak with you. And he thinks about it for a moment, and he says, no, just tell them to watch what I do. Can you imagine a leader, a pastor, a minister, or something like that? Someone asked to talk to him, and he sends a message back, no. Yeah, right? Be afraid of turning them off or whatever, right? But he said, you can't imagine that, Tim? Okay. Yeah, he essentially communicates. There's nothing I can say right now to these folks. Just watch what I do.
At that point, they don't know what we know. As far as they're
No, they
concerned,
don't.
He's a prophet. He's done some amazing stuff, but he's certainly not part of God.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're just one God.
Right, that's right.
But by Jesus coming in low key,
Mm-hmm.
not getting arrested right off the bat.
Not off the bat.
He has the whole week to preach
Mhm.
and do stuff.
Mm-hmm. He does.
And then, knowing what's coming up
Mm-hmm.
with the resurrection, that's the whole turning point.
Yeah,
the resurrection.
right.
And
Yeah, that's
the
right, Gary.
apostles going out to the world, they,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Right. So we have rejection that and death that ends up into life. We have a breaking and a scattering, which ends up to the benefit of all of us. Right? It's that every time we're never getting out, not for now, we're never getting out of the narrative that things have to break and burn before they become beautiful. I'm sorry. I don't want it either. I got a little beef with God. I don't want that to be the way the order of the world is right now. But none of us have gotten where we are without those rejections, those breaks, those crashes, those tragedies. You can take, we can talk about that later. You can take that up with God. Why create in the first place? You can do that later. But for now, this narrative is like every good movie you've ever seen is this story. Every good biography you've ever read is this story. All the plays that speak throughout the centuries, it's this story. You said something about comes in low key. Oh yeah. So, right, this is strategy. If he had gone in on this day and immediately turned up the heat and boiled everything over, he would not have had the week. He would, right? So he right. So it makes me tear up. He kept telling the disciples, I'm the only one that, I'm going to choose I'm going to decide to give up my life. So it looks like that he's killed. And he is. But he decided when. and he turned up the heat on them. And he boiled them over on the right time at the right day, knowing the hearts of one of his best friends. I mean, right? He's the one who gave, no one takes his life from him, but he chooses when to lay it down.
You think about the Pharisees, they don't understand who he is. As far as they're concerned, he's a nice prophet, he's done some cool stuff, but he is going to disrupt.
We're a little tired of hearing from him.
The
Yep.
whole system is going to be taken down if we let this continue.
Right. We're actually gonna lose the little bit of positions that we do have.
Yeah.
They're probably gonna tear our temple down.
Yeah.
I mean, right.
They're gonna crucify a bunch of people, and,
Right.
and we gotta take them out.
Yep. There are gonna be a lot more Fridays with a lot more than 3 people on that hill. Yeah.
Father, forgive them because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. Oh my God. When we get to that later this week, I don't know how you do. I mean, boy, what a crucible you must have gone through at other points in your life to be able to say that at that moment. You're not able to hang on the cross and say, Father, forgive them, they don't know what they're doing, if you haven't been formed by massive amounts of pressure and heat prior. Yeah. Okay, so last question. This is God. And your God, my God, Creator God. Not just a picture of God. This is what God, not just what God would do. This is how God wants you to view God like this. Like what is God like? He orchestrates a ridiculous show for a week, does all of that. That's the nature of God. How does that strike you? That the divine wants us to view the divine like that. Maybe that's too big. Too big of a question. Mhm. 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 Yeah. Maybe it's hard to talk about. Maybe it's hard to put into words. Maybe we just have to view the picture of and say, this is what God's looks like. Yeah. God creates the world that has the capacity to become crooked. You can take that up with him. We get upset because we can't reach God, and God keeps telling us things and cannot reach us. And instead of continuing on and we try to reach God, it doesn't work. God tries to reach us, it doesn't work. Instead of continuing on in that way, God says, okay, I will actually enter into this good but broken world that I created. I will enter into it with solidarity, and you will know what I am like through that. I'm like you. Or you're like me, which is it, Right? Yeah, and instead of being said, here's what you need to do, there is a bit. I don't want to say, I don't want to make it too big of a difference, but there is a bit more like now. Um, what God is interested in is actually, what's your desire? Let's start there. Yeah. Anybody else?
We had to have the resurrection. I mean, think about
We
it.
had to.
If you didn't have the resurrection, we wouldn't be here the whole thing. It'd just be another prophet they slaughtered, you know.
Mhm.
But if you didn't have a very public death of some sort that
Mhm.
was really
Mhm.
obvious to everybody,
Mhm.
and along with the idea of the sacrifice of the belief, you know,
Mhm.
we look at Christians and the sacrifices they have to make sometimes.
Mhm.
So we had a combination of the sacrifice for people, a public death, and
Mhm.
everybody said, yeah, he's dead, and then he's resurrected,
Mhm.
and then the apostles go out.
Mhm.
I mean, the more I think about it, it all had to happen that way
Mhm.
for it to really
It does.
work.
It's almost irresistible. It's almost compulsory. There's not another route. Because all of our lives and everything we do, build, all of our systems are created in order to avoid death. Or because we know death is coming. Death of any kind. Whether that be the loss of energy, like entropy, or our own deaths, or as soon as you build a house, you get done with it, it's brand new, it is set on falling down. That's its only job now. You just finished it. It's beautiful and done. It has one job now,
I like that. I had never thought about
to
it
fall
like
down.
that, yeah.
Right. Right, we didn't think about it, right? What do we, but how do you get out of that? You know? Well, you got to get a new body that never breaks anymore. You got to get new sun that doesn't burn skin anymore. Yeah, all that. Okay.
Alan Watts, the philosopher,
I know. Mm-hmm.
he has a little snippet where he says, one of the best, essentially, the best thing you can do to lead a rich, fertile life with a rich, fertile mind is look at skulls and think about death and think about what it is,
Mm-hmm.
and grapple with it. And I think that, although I'm fairly certain Alan Watts is a mistake, that is really what is accomplished by thinking about the death and the resurrection is you get this, it's fertilizer for the soil of your mind to
Mhm.
think about
Mhm.
decay and
Mhm.
think about entropy and think
Mhm.
about what that means for you in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the death and resurrection is amazing fertilizer for
Mm-hmm.
for empathy and intellectual curiosity and everything good that can be fomented in
Mhm.
the human brain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Thinking about that is
and we're right now we're on the clock. You know, all of like as the house wants to fall down, as soon as the baby is born, baby's on the clock. Has a finite window, right? That's just the way the world is. What we really need to satisfy our hearts is to be without time. You know? To pursue, co-create, and investigate the unending, understandable mysteries with God of all that has been made and done. Like that's really, we got to get there. Get out of time. We get some bodies that don't decay. We get some universe that doesn't harm us. Then we'll be satisfied. Anybody else? All right. Can you take us home? Thanks. Good, Ian. Good Friday service at noon here at Asbury. Also, I want to let you know that I am looking for one or two Sunday school teachers. Will come with a stipend. So if you have recommendations, please send those to me. And then, you already know it from the past, and there will inevitably be some in the future. And if you have children, you know it as well. But this pattern of tragedy, crucible, and reformation is terrible, but it's going to continue to be the case of our lives. And I just want you. Sometimes God says to me, "Quit talking, Josh." And it's just watch what I do. I will back you up. I just want to offer that to you. Sometimes just quit. Not in a rude, God's not being mean. Just quit talking, Josh. Watch what I do. Sit down, open your eyes, watch what I do. I will back you up. It's hard to remember that on Thursday and Friday of this week. But that's why we have friends. Go in peace to love and serve the Lord, which means loving and serving your neighbor. See you soon.